Welcome back to What's Next, Living Longer, Better, Smarter. We have another great episode in store for you with what is becoming a pre-Thanksgiving tradition for us. This edition, Taste, Togetherness and Technology, is made possible by Ageless Innovation, improving the quality of life for older adults, their families, and caregivers. I'm Fred Fishkin along with Mary Furlong. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Fred. Can you believe we're here in November and Thanksgiving is on the way? So we're continuing with this wonderful tradition and a lot of exciting news in this podcast.
We certainly are, and lots of great news. Joining us once again is Lidia Bastianich, author, entrepreneur, Emmy Award-winning PBS cooking show personality, and just a lovely person. Hi, Lidia.
Hi, everybody. Nice to be back.
Also, once again, along with Lidia, Ted Fischer is here, CEO of Ageless Innovation, maker of robotic companion pets, and more. Hi, Ted.
Hey, Fred. Hi, Mary. And Lidia, always such a pleasure to be here with you. I can't believe we're on year 3. I feel honored. So thanks for doing it again.
You know, we're old friends now. We're sort of share a family moving on, marriages, grandchildren, and whatever. So I am delighted to be back and to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and the holidays coming.
And we'll have another special guest joining us as well. So stay tuned for that, something you won't want to miss.
So thank you all. We're very excited to have you with us. And Lidia, we loved your latest book, A Pot, a Pan, and a Bowl. We've given it to a lot of our friends. And with the holidays coming up, some great recipes in there. But before we get to that, I just wanted to chat with you a little bit about how you weave your grandchildren into your show, because families change through the holidays. And tell us how important your grandchildren are in carrying on your traditions.
Well, you know, for me, it's all about family, I guess. Not only an Italian tradition, but, you know, my mother lived with me, my daughter lived close by, and the children, as they grew up, you know, my mother helped me with my children so I can go to work. So there was always this connection, and I continued, of course, love having them around. So when I taped the show, when I did the holidays, they always were there to help me. And, you know, still this day, there's a great connection. We travel together. I love to travel. They're big now. They're in college and working and on the jobs. And we keep in touch all the time. When they want a new recipe, you know, to cook in their dorm, something simple. So zoom in, Grandma, can you give me this? How did you do that, Grandma? Can you give me that recipe? And so on. And I just love it. I love seeing them continue this tradition, because you know how important it is, first of all, to have good food, healthy food, and to be all around the table together.
So tell us about some of your healthy recipes. You know, a lot of people during the COVID gained weight, so now they're chipping that concrete off. And what are some things that you recommend this holiday for us to try?
Well, you know, the Italian cuisine is you know, it's the Mediterranean cuisine, lauded for being a nutritional cuisine. So more or less in the lines. And what are those lines? You know, simple cooking, straightforward, fresh, local, seasonal, but a lot of vegetables. I love vegetables and pasta, vegetables and rice, and of course, maybe not so much the big meats. So lots of fruit, eating, I can diversified, you know, we have the antipasto, the little pasta, not too much, just enough, and then the main course. So all of those elements, I think, are what make a good table, a good nutritional cuisine, and sort of an emotional kind of tie in the family and children.
I remember one of my last memories with my mother was taking her to cooking school, and we learned to cook Thanksgiving recipes, which are a little lighter. So that's fun, isn't it, Fred?
It sure is. We're going to come back to Lidia for some of her favorite family recipes. And Ted, I know you can't wait for that. Tell us what's new at Ageless Innovation.
Oh, I'm actually only here to hear about Lydia's recipes, but since you asked, I'm happy to share. We've had a really exciting year. 2022 has been had its challenges, but also just some amazing progression for the company. We launched a line of games earlier this year based on reminiscence therapy that families can play and be together, and especially during the holidays, it's a wonderful time to think about, what can we do together and through the generations, and so that's been amazing. But the highlight of the year has been the launch of our newest product, which is the Walker Squawker. And the best part of the Walker Squawker is that it was invented by a 93-year-old woman named Rita Malone, who for 90 years of her life didn't need a walker and always forgot it. And her family gets upset, and people get upset that she forgets her walker. And her mindset is, listen, I don't think, hey, get up, grab your walker and go. I get up and I go. And so she thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if I just had this, little bird or something that sat on my walker to make it more fun and engaging and remind me to use it. So just so happens I have the Walker Squawkers here, but they come in two different varieties. We have the Bluebird and the Cardinal, and they're pretty exciting in that they're each have the native sounds of the birds that they are, and so quick little turn on, it responds as our other pets do to light and to sound and to voice, and then when it goes on the walker, which I have one here, but I'll just so the mount is here, but it goes into a different mode where it'll start, as you move, it'll start to sing songs. And the more you move, the more songs it unlocks. And I'll just put it down so it doesn't sense motion for a second. It'll stop singing. If it thinks that the walker has stopped, and give you a little reminder. Don't forget me, that's bird language for don't forget me. And it'll keep giving you those reminders, thinking maybe you've walked away from the walker. So we couldn't be more excited by this product and, Rita's involvement, and to really support a 93-year-old, now 95-year-old entrepreneur, and her innovation has been the most exciting part of the story. And we're super excited about the impact that this product could have with older adults that need, or just to make it a more fun and engaging experience with the walker. I think until Garrett came along and designed the Zeen, there really wasn't much fun in walkers, but I'm super excited to learn more. Oh, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I know we have a surprise guest coming on, so I'll stop there.
Well, that's a perfect segue, Ted. With us for the first time, a member of the Inventors Hall of Fame, creator of the Steadicam. He won an Oscar for that and changed cinematography. And now he is the inventor of Zeen, the elevating walking chair, Garrett Brown. Hi, Garrett.
Hi, Fred. How are you? And hi, Lydia. It's really a thrill to see you. And hi, Ted. I love that Walker Squawk. I'd like to see that on our product. That's a great idea. I love it particularly that Rita is 95 and did this.
Well, Garrett, we need a description for our audience here and all of us what Zeen is all about. And you've got some big news to share about it too. So tell us what Zeen is.
Well, Zeen is, I was watching my dad at 97 and his pals on walkers, and, nothing against walkers. They're great, good old devices, but you're at a walker, you have something in front of you. Some people, do fall from them. And sometimes they're a little hard on the shoulders, and wheelchairs are a one-way ticket to not walking, if you're honest. And in the habit of inventing, you think of things that are missing, and something that was missing to me is a lifestyle device as well as a mobility device. So the Zeen is the result. It's a comfy chair. It's hard to even picture this. It's a comfy chair that does the lifting and gets you up to what we call bar stool mode. So you're reclining on the Zeen at human height, unlike wheelchairs. And then in between, it's a great way to get around. You can coast. You have a little seat belt and you're on a saddle, so you're safe from falls, essentially. And we're just sold our 100th Zeen, and the stories we're getting back are wonderful, because people that have neither, the ability to walk much or get to their feet, and who do not have a Walker Squawker, are quite enjoying this thing. So it's been thrilling to me. The Steadicam is a great thing, but I think the Zeen is more important for people that are disabled or are geriatric.
Before we go further and you get into the news that you're going to share with us, let's give people a look at what the zine is and what it can do.
I was
That's
hanging
good.
out
That
with
tells
my
us good.
dad at 97 as he was gracefully declining, and I was with him for weeks in hospitals and care places, and I watched his pals have immense difficulty getting up from chairs. It was clear that something was missing. I looked at his cohort on walkers and wheelchairs, and I did not admire either object. A walker is kind of demeaning, and a wheelchair is a one-way ticket to not walking. And there's a social aspect too, when you're sitting down at this height and perpetually looking up to people. And we concluded that maybe something can be done about this. So we undertook, based on an inspiration from the Zeen, Baron von Drees invented in 1816 the first no pedals bicycle. And the Zeen allowed the young bucks to just scoot along like this. I struck the pedals off a bike, tried it out, it's great. But obviously, that's not a great mobility device for people. So I welded up a drive walker. We were able to raise some money, which was really bracing and great for us. And that has allowed us to work our way through all these variations. Weighed 70 pounds, wouldn't fold. We had to just shut that down and start over again with a goal to make it light and foldable. It's a chair that gets up and goes, and it will keep you much safer. I'm really excited to see where this thing goes.
A terrific video and an invention, Garrett. So tell us about the news. You've just returned from a little trip.
Yes, I've been looking at Pope Francis, who has serious difficulty getting to his feet. He has a tragic knee, and there are video of him in wheelchairs and of being painfully hoisted up from chairs, and with resting his arms on black-clad, purple-belted figures around him. And I thought this is a man, which he is, who possibly could use this device. And I was schooled by some friends, Italian friends and people in the Vatican, how to address the Pope. And I wrote a letter, not a bad letter, and it evidently wound its way through the legal department and here and there in the Vatican. And we got a wonderful letter back accepting. And so Ellen and I flew to Rome, and last Wednesday handed off a zine to the Pope's infermiere, his private medic, and to his head of security. And we met him in a private audience. And I can't tell you, Fred, whether he's on it yet or will or not. It's a private matter. But his people say he needs this, and he will use it in his residence, and that would be very pleasing to us. Whether or not it ever becomes a public matter, or maybe he won't. It's impossible to say. But the first zine in Europe was just delivered to Pope Francis, which we're thrilled about. And he is one, I think, of. There have to be millions of people in the world that fall into the group that could make use of this and enjoy life better and get around better. And as one fellow said, just having my feet on the ground is so amazing. So the Steadicam is a lovely thing, but it's a bit fluffy compared to something that is important for people. So we'll see. As I said, I am thrilled and somewhat humbled just to think what will happen.
Well, I think we should theme this an Italian Thanksgiving. And Ted, we're going to have to find out whether the Pope wants a bluebird or a cardinal.
I think a cardinal is most appropriate.
A cardinal, that has to happen. And the other thing is, we did offer to make him a white one. And, if they take that up, an all-white zine would be really fun.
Now, to bring Lidia back, Lidia, you actually cooked for the popes, right?
Oh,
I did. I had this great honor when they came to visit the United States and they were in New York. I cooked for Pope Benedict when he was here, and I cooked for Pope Francis when he was here. And it was extraordinary. Garrett, that's a great invention.
Thank you, Lidia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where it all goes. It's an odd profession, inventing, because the stuff doesn't exist, and then it does, and then you see what happens. So.
Lidia, when you cook for the Pope, what do you make?
Well, because the popes, when they travel, they don't go in hotels, so they don't eat in restaurants. They stay in the nuncio's house, so you move in almost with the Pope, because the nuncio's house in New York is on 72nd Street, right off Fifth Avenue, and the Pope's room is up on the second floor, and then the first floor there's the dining room, and then there's the kitchen downstairs. So we cooked in the kitchen, served upstairs, and he slept upstairs, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And of course, Pope Ratzinger, he is German, and his mother was a chef, and so I said, so where I come from in Italy, in the Northeast, that was right on the border, the Austrian-Hungarian influence, and so I said, well, I'm going to cook some of his food, maybe some of the food that his mother would cook for him. And I did. I made sauerkraut, I made spätzles, I made palatschinke, and he really loved it and appreciated it. And it was really wonderful. Pope Francis, well, I thought, coming from Argentina, I'm going to make a nice prime rib roast and so on. But the Vatican nixed me. He was sort of watching his diet. And the next step was, okay, his origins are in Piemonte, which is northwestern region of Italy. And so I did a risotto, light things, risotto, some nice sweet scallopini. I did soup for both because traveling, and some grilled fish for Pope Francis. And he did like his sweets though. So I made a nice peach tart. It was extraordinary. I still kind of picture myself. I said, was it real? Not one, but two.
We'll have to get that picture. I'd like that peach tart recipe. Ted,
every time I'm on this show with Lidia, I'm starving. My stomach's grumbling. You're amazing. It's so good.
All right. We have to get you in the kitchen.
I want to get Ted's reaction to what Garrett is doing here too. And Garrett, one thing we should point out is you're doing this, the Zeen, without electronics, right? You don't have to charge this or anything.
Yeah, no. My deal is good. I'm not a really sophisticated engineering type, but I do understand Newtonian physics. This is very cleverly used springs, as the Steadicam was. So there's no batteries, which people like.
Ted, let's get your reaction to this. I mean, obviously we want to get a walker squawker on a Zeen, but beyond that, I mean, your company is called Ageless Innovation.
Yeah, no, when I first heard about the Zeen and we checked it out, and my co-founding partner, he's an engineer, and we watched that video that was shown earlier, and he was like, I got to meet this guy. I mean, so Garrett, what you're doing, and there's so many things to it. It's not just about the mobility, and it's the dignity, it's the ability to engage and socially interact. And really the premise of everything we do is our differentiated approach to the older adult space is fun, joy, and play. And almost no one thinks about it in terms of, everybody's focused on the downside and the negativity of aging.
So true.
And we've seen the impact, repeatedly, so you shared your 100th Zeen on Tuesday of next week. Well, it'll come out actually after this, but before this podcast, but we're announcing our 500,000th pet adopted from Ageless Innovation. And so, to think about that category creation, as you talked about when you're an inventor, there were no, social robotic pets for older adults 7-8 years ago before we did this, and had the great, fortune of being able to create it at Hasbro. But when you think about, creating these markets and these market opportunities, and then being able to see the joy and the impact that it has brought to people, and I think the Zeen is just a tremendous innovation, and I think it is going to bring joy and happiness to so many people, as well as the mobility piece. But that's as exciting as any part of it for me.
Oh, thank you.
Fred, Garrett, you such wonderful ideas for elderly, but cooking is also a little problematic for elderly people. So, I not only do I cook on television and they watch, but I do have a sauce out there, different sauces that it's very easy that they can bring in their kitchen. And so
you've got a whole new line, isn't that right? The organic.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, this equipment can get these people also cooking. They can stand up and kind of put the pasta on and cook and use the sauce. Now, they can make a sauce, but certainly the convenience of having a sauce. And yes, we've been making sauces under Lidia's name for almost 15 years, but there's always an improvement. Like you guys always move on towards new ideas. So does food, it's always a consciousness to health, to nutrition. So, our sauces are ever more natural ingredients and no artificial flavors, no additives, no filters, no gluten-free, and so on. So I guess, we are all conscious about society and how we go forward and what we can contribute in our own way.
Do you have any recipes that you're able to that you want to share with the audience for us today, Lidia?
Oh, I got to get my notepad out. Go ahead.
Well, if let's say that I'll use the sauces, which facilitate instead of giving you a whole new recipe. The sauces, they're great to make pasta, but not only pasta. You could make, let's say that you want to make some chicken, but chicken is very popular. Take chicken breast, season it, you saute it in the pan with a little bit of butter and oil, maybe a few garlic cloves, and you slice in some mushrooms or some peppers, and you make kind of a chicken breast cacciatore by adding some of the sauce. Now, you can add our tomato sauce, tomatoes basil sauce, the marinara sauce. We have even a capricciosa sauce, which is a little spicy. So you can add that to the protein, not in big amounts, but a cup or two, and it makes a whole meat with proteins. You can do it with sausages. You can do it with fish, a fillet of flounder or fillet of fish that you like, and put in it some peas, some string beans, and add a little bit of the sauce, and voila, you have yourself a nice moist piece of fish. And so on down the line. So, I get sort of innovating my own way, guys. You do your thing, I do my thing.
Yeah, you've done okay, Lidia. I think you've innovated not just food concepts, a few other business concepts that are pretty impressive too. So
there's been so much innovation today, Ted. The games I think would be really fun to have this Thanksgiving. Lidia, as some of my friends are in their 70s now, and we're having Friendsgiving on a Tuesday, and we're going to be giving the former president of our college. She wanted she wanted the red cardinal because she's still in her 80s. She's still kind of wild and sassy, and so she's very smart, but she wants that red one. And Garrett, you're innovating. Can I ask how young you are? I'm 74.
80, just turned 80.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's so oddly relative, isn't it? And it comes and goes. I had my knees replaced. I felt 90 before, now the knees are great. What an age we live in. And that all we can, if we have the will, we can keep chugging. I love that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that for 1 second. Being 80 and you're still inventing something like the Zeen, obviously still active and still the mind is still churning. You're coming up with ideas all the time. What advice do you have for, I guess, the rest of us to keep that kind of mindset. And I know, Lidia, your mom had been on us the first podcast we did, and she was sharp right up until. So tell us what your thoughts are, Garrett.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with something not unlike inventing, which is making a list of what you want. And that doesn't have to be a machine or a thing or Lidia, a recipe or anything else. What do you want in life? Address it straight ahead, and then start finding, backing up from what you want to where you are now and thinking, what do I have to do serially, sequentially, simultaneously to edge toward that? I have a long list of stuff I want to do, and I think that really helps. And I feel unhappy for friends of mine that have sort of settled back on the couch and not allowed themselves to chase stuff, that have more or less thrown in the towel. And I can tell you, I haven't given up yet. There's a lot to do. I just want more time. I want more time. And if you're at it and you stay with it, you have a shot, I think. Because today's medicine and today's science is actually your best gift for carrying on. In the old days, people with my old knees would be on a bench beside the fire.
My father-in-law, who was 82 at the time, played with me in my member guest tennis tournament at the club, and our combined age was 4 times any other team in the field. So, and we did pretty well. He was pretty, he's a pretty good tennis player at 80 plus years old, I can tell you. So no slowing down, keep moving forward.
That's terrific. And Lydia's new foods can keep you healthy now too, right? And you focused on some healthy recipes of late too, with beans, legumes, different kinds of pastas.
Absolutely. I think what Garrett and Fred have said, I feel the same way. And I'm in between. I'm 76 and no spring chicken, but it's all about keeping your mind busy, thinking of new things, because as we age, we have accumulated a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding, a lot of experiences with other human beings. And, if you're stimulated and you can bring that out and develop things and sort of use that knowledge to make things happen even more. Than you did maybe when I was very young and cooking behind the ranges, and for me that involves, yes, making new sauces, facilitate the cooking for the people at home, cookbooks that, again, very conscious about the cookbooks. The latest one that you mentioned, it's all about cooking in one pan. I remember my grandmother did that, and then we got fancy and we need 10 pans on the stove to make a meal. Well, let's go a little bit retro and let's maximize that retro. What worked then, and how can we put it in today's lifestyle? And people really appreciate that. Appreciate the sort of the facilitating for them to cook, to clean, to be nutritionally effective, keep all the, nutrition is certainly on the top list of everybody's thinking, but it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to, it could be simple as soaking beans overnight and then cooking them the next day and enjoying them.
Are you going to have a recipe called spring chicken? Because that might be good.
Well, yeah, I do. I have many recipes, Garrett, for spring chicken. Absolutely. But spring chicken could mean different things. It could be chicken cooked in with the spring vegetables, I think, but also a young chicken, a poulet, is considered a spring chicken. And, in Italian, we call it galetto. And I remember for my grandmother, it was almost a sacrifice to slaughter a young chicken, which is a spring chicken, because you want it to grow and to give you eggs and so whatever. But it was a special treat, for a special Sunday or a special event.
Well, this is quite a group. I'll tell you what, they could invent together. And I see a dinner in our future. I see a toy that's a robot that's a spring chicken. And I see changing people's lives. You know, a lot of people think of Thanksgiving as a time to say, is mom okay? You know, do they look a little different? I love the innovation, the creativity, and the engagement. And when I see my young granddaughter, who's going to be 2, she likes to help in the kitchen, you know, and it just brings everyone together. So Fred, great conversation.
Absolutely. And Garrett, one thing, you know, we're talking about togetherness. And you talk, and Lidia brought up the idea of people maybe using a zine, being able to cook. They maybe couldn't do that before, being able to get up and be at the stove.
Yeah,
but the idea of a family gathering and the change that it brings about, the mindset, if the person can rise up and be on the same level, eye to eye with everyone else in the room, and still
weirdly,
be comfortable.
Strangely, that's something that people really cherish about this. We call it barstool mode when you're perched up on it, because you're at a sociable altitude, you know, and that's good.
Just a beautiful thing. Where can people go for more information, Garrett?
Well, it's there's an easy website, and that's probably a great place to start. It's called Go Zeen. So it's GOZEEN.com, and all will be revealed on that website.
And Lidia, you have a group of websites too, and so many places to go because you're involved with so many things. But where is the best place for people to go to learn about all that you're doing and some of your new products?
Well, lidiasitaly.com is the center of all of the happenings. But then I am on YouTube.
Good for you. That's so great.
And Ted, of course, where should we steer people? You have a couple of websites. I do.
Too. So that before I do the website, so Thursday of this coming week, I'm going to travel into New York City. I'm honored to be running the New York Marathon with my youngest daughter on a week from Sunday. And Lidia, we're having dinner at our family's restaurant in the city, Masseria dei Vini, small family gathering. You're more than welcome to join. A little Southern Italian cuisine at Masseria dei Vini, 9th between 57th and 58th. So if you're available, you're invited to family dinner on Thursday.
On 9th between 57th and the
58th, yeah. Masseria dei Vini, yeah. It's a great restaurant, actually. We have a couple in the city, but the best way to find out about Joy for All is at joyforall.com, JOYFORALL.com. And is the same for Garrett. Everything you wanted to know, you can find out there.
You know, yeah, that's great. I just might. If I don't make it that day, I'll go another day. You know, we have a restaurant not too far from there, which is Becca on 46 between 8th and 9th.
So I've been there. It's fantastic.
Okay, next November, we're all going to be together. We can even invite the Pope if we want. So Fred will get on the train and come to that too. This has been a wonderful, wonderful show, and amazing, the innovation and the care and the joy.
And what weaves all of these people together, Mary, is that they are all improving lives in
That's true.
Quite a few ways. So it's just a wonderful thing. We thank all of you for joining us, and we want to thank our sponsor for this edition, Ageless Innovation, improving the quality of life for older adults, their families, and caregivers. You can always find us at maryfurlong.com/podcasts. And we're also now being carried by Spiro 100, reaching hundreds of senior living communities and thousands of individual subscribers as well. Find more at home.spiro100.com. Thank you for spending time with us.
And
wonderful to meet you all.
To try Lidia's recipes, and wish you all togetherness, happiness, joy, and a great Thanksgiving and holiday season.